How are you guys doing? Today is Tuesday, April 26th, 2022. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to do an elite individual profile on Aaron Judge. The elite outfielder for the New York Yankees is turning 30 today. And what I'm going to do with this episode is I'm going to zoom in and focus on his career. Of course, zoom in and look at how he's been able to impact baseball on a micro level, game in, game out for his team. And I'm going to look at how he's been able to impact the game on a macro level, see how he's been able to change the game as a 6'7" outfielder with power, with natural power that baseball isn't naturally used to seeing. I guess one of the best ways to kind of describe Aaron Judge is that he's just a bigger, more powerful player, and it's actually very impressive considering that he is like a basketball player out there playing with baseball players. He can hit incredibly well. He can see the ball incredibly well. But the thing about him is because he's so big and he's so tall and he has so much swing with his long arms, like his natural momentum is just naturally stronger than a lot of other people. He hits a lot of just long home runs just for batting practice because he's just naturally that strong, and just knowing how the angular momentum of a bat works, having longer arms and a much stronger frame actually would be very advantageous with that. Not to mention that he's actually an incredible fielder as well. But of course, I digress because Aaron Judge is really kind of an anomaly. I do like the way he plays. And he is one of the largest players in the MLB. And I do think he deserves his credit for being one of the best while being one of the largest. So I digress. Originally from Linden, California, Aaron Judge would eventually get drafted with the 32nd overall pick by the New York Yankees in the 2013 MLB draft. This, of course, would come after he went to go play baseball at Cal State Fresno. But in the MLB draft, looking at who he would be drafted alongside, this would be the draft where Chris Bryant was taken second. Tim Anderson was also taken 17th in this draft, just to give you a good sense of who he was taken with. Aaron Judge would eventually go on to make his debut for the New York Yankees in 2016 after he was drafted by the Yankees. He would be brought up in his age 24 season, and he would only play 27 games for a Yankees team that would end up going 84-78. That's actually the last time the Yankees haven't made the playoffs, it was Aaron Judge's rookie, like his very first debut season. In the 27 games he played, he had about 15 hits, a couple of doubles, 4 home runs, and 10 RBIs. He even finished that season with a 179 on batting average and a 608 OPS. But of course, you would expect that from a player kind of getting his start, and they wouldn't even really count that as his rookie season. But following that season, every single full year that Aaron Judge has been on the team, the Yankees have made the playoffs. His second season there was his age 25 or his first full season there was his age 25 season in 2017. And in his rookie season, he, of course, would go on to be named the Rookie of the Year in the American League, after he would go on to lead the American League in runs, home runs, walks, and strikeouts, which is a very weird combination to lead the league in as one player, especially as a rookie. He would go on to play 155 games for a New York Yankees team that would go 91-71. They would finish as runners-up in their division. However, they would go all the way to the championship series, but of course, I'll get right into the season first. In that season, Aaron Judge would finish with 154 hits in 155 games. That's one less hit than games played. He would go on to have an American League high 128 runs. That is the only season in his career to date that he's finished with at least 100 runs, even over 90 runs in a season. And he went on to lead the league. He would finish with 24 doubles, which is tied for his career high. He would finish with 3 triples that year, which is his career high. He would finish with 52 home runs this year, which is also a career high for him. He would go on to, I believe, set an American League rookie record when he did it. And I think he won the home run derby as well, but don't take that exact one. He would go on to finish with 114 RBIs on the year. That's his only season to date that he's had at least 100 RBIs in a season and at least 40 home runs in a season. He would finish with 127 walks. He led the league in walks and strikeouts. I don't even know how that's possible, but he would go on to finish with 127 walks. That's the only season he had over 100 walks. He would lead the league in strikeouts too, as he had 208 of them. That's the only season that he's had at least 160 of them. He would go on to finish with a 284 batting average, which is amongst his best. He would have a career high 422 on base percentage. His slugging percentage would also be a career high from 627. He would finish with an OPS on-base plus slugging of 1049. This would be the only time that his OPS would be over 1,000 for the year. His OPS plus, which measures him compared to the average hitter in the American League, it was at 171, meaning that his on-base plus slugging was 71 points better than the average hitter in baseball. He would finish with 340 total bases. That's the only time in his career that he's had at over 30 total bases. In addition to winning the Rookie of the Year, he would be named an All-Star in his very first season. He was definitely named a Silver Slugger, and he would be the MVP runner-up that year to Jose Altuve, as Jose Altuve would have a 200-hit season that year. It would be pretty hard to argue against that, but following Aaron Judge's virtuoso rookie season, the Yankees would make it into the playoffs, so they would beat the Minnesota Twins in the wild card game. They would go on to beat the Cleveland Indians at that time by 5 in the American League division. They won it 3-2. They won that American League division series. They would go on to lose in the American League Championship Series to the Houston Astros, who would go on to win the World Series by beating the Dodgers, and they would still go on to keep their trophy despite what baseball fans know happened. And then following that season, this would lead into Aaron Judge's second full season with the team, his age 26 season in 2018. And this would be the season that you would start to see him deal with a lot of injury stuff. Naturally, being that tall is probably, it's very impressive that he's played that many games. Specifically in this game, he would actually get hit in his hand as he would fracture his ulnar styloid bone in his wrist, and then it ended up healing. It took longer than expected to heal. However, Aaron Judge would go on to play 112 games in his second season for a New York Yankees team that would make it right back to the playoffs with 100 wins. They went 162 as they finished with the second best record in their division again. But looking at how they fared within the season, Aaron Judge would go on to finish with 115 hits in the 112 games he played. That's the first time in his career he had more hits than games played. He would finish with 77 runs in that shortened season. He had 22 doubles, which was almost eclipsing what he did the year before. He had 27 home runs alongside 67 RBIs. He would go on to finish with 278 batting average alongside a 392 OBP. He had a 528 slugging percentage, making it the second year in a row that he would have a slugging percentage over 500. His OPS would finish at about 919. Even hitting 900 in OPS is completely ridiculous. It would be the second year that he did that. And he would still go on to be named an All-Star in just his second season in the league. Once the Yankees would finish their season, they would end up beating the Oakland Athletics in the wild card, and then they would lose in 4 games in the American League Division Series to the eventual World Series champs Boston Red Sox, making it the second year in a row that they would end up losing in the playoffs to the eventual champs. Following that, Aaron Judge would return for his third season with the Yankees, his age 27 season in 2019. Within that season, Aaron Judge would go on to play 102 games. He missed 60 games because he was dealing with an oblique strain, I believe. It was pretty early on in the year. But because of that, he would go on to miss his very first All-Star game. He would finish with 103 hits in 102 games, though. He had more hits than games played. He had 75 runs on the year. He had 18 doubles. He would finish with 27 home runs for the second year in a row, as this year he had 55 RBIs, 12 less than the year before. He would end his season with a 272 batting average alongside his 381 on-base percentage. He had a 540 slugging percentage, making it the third year in a row he had a slugging percentage over 500. And he would finish with a 921 OPS, making it the third year in a row he had an OPS over 900. Once that season came to an end, the New York Yankees would end up beating the Twins in the divisional series. They swept them 3-0. They would lose in the American League Championship Series to the Houston Astros before the Astros went on to lose in the World Series to the Washington Nationals. They lost that series in 7. But of course, that would lead into Aaron Judge's fourth full season, which many people would remember as the quarantine season. In his age 28 season, he would only play 28 of the 60 games in quarantine, as of course he had to deal with a couple pectoral injuries. But in 2020, in the 28, this would be, of course, the season where they shortened the season because of COVID, but they did expand the playoffs to 8 games in both sides. In 2020, Aaron Judge would go on to finish with 26 hits in the 28 games that he played. He would go on to finish with 23 runs on the season, as he only had 3 doubles on the year. He had 9 home runs alongside 22 RBIs. He finished that season with a .257 batting average, which to this day is a career low for him in terms of the full seasons he's played. And he would go on to finish with an .891 on-base percentage. Actually, he played the same amount of games roughly as he did his rookie year. Once that season came to an end, the New York Yankees would go on to win in their first wild card game versus the Cleveland Indians. They won it 2-0. And then they would go on to lose in the division series to the Tampa Bay Rays, who would eventually go on to the World Series and then lose to the Dodgers. This would be the 4th year in a row that the team that they lost to would go to the World Series. And then, of course, following that, that's what lead into Aaron Judge's last full season that he's played with the Yankees, which would be his 5th full season with the team. He went on to play 148 games. The first time that he's played that many games since his rookie season, by the way. He played 148 games in a season where the Yankees would finish with a 92-70 record. They would finish with the 3rd best record in the American League East, but they would still qualify for the wild card. In this round, or within the season, Aaron Judge would finish with 158 hits in 148 games, making it the 3rd time in a 4-year stretch that he would have more hits than games played. His 89 runs were the 2nd most that he's ever put up in a career. He would finish with 24 doubles, which is tied with his rookie season for his career high at the moment. He would finish with 39 home runs and 98 RBIs. Both of those are the 2nd most that he's ever been able to put up in a season compared to his rookie season. He would go on to finish with a .287 batting average on the year, which to this date is the highest batting average he's ever put together in a season, alongside his .373 on-base percentage, which would be around on the lower end of what he was doing. He would go on to finish with a .544 slugging percentage, which would be the 5th year in a row that his slugging percentage was over 500. He would finish with a .916 OPS. This would be the 4th year in a 5-year stretch that his OPS was over 900. His 299 total bases were also the 2nd most he was able to put up in a season. He would finish that season being named an All-Star for the 3rd time in a 5-year window. He would be named a Silver Slugger for the 2nd time in his career, the 1st time being his rookie year. And he would finish 4th in an MVP race that would see Shohei Ohtani win it for the Los Angeles Angels. Once the Yankee season would come to a close, they would end up losing in the wild card game to the Boston Red Sox. So that's, of course, how that would end up. But then following that, this would lead us into the season that he's currently playing right now, as we are in a fresh new baseball season. So far, Aaron Judge has played 16 games for a New York Yankees side that is currently holding the 2nd best record in the American League East. They only sit 1 game behind the division-leading Blue Jays at the minute, as they've won their last 3 games. Aaron Judge has played all 16 of the games they played this year, as they are 10-6. He has 15 hits in the 16 games he's played so far. He has a couple of doubles. He has 3 home runs and 5 RBIs so far. Right now, he's holding a .263 batting average and an .863 OPS, as, of course, he is going to continue to he's going to, of course, finish out this season just the way he did the last year. I do hope that all is, of course, well with him with injury-wise, because I do think that when Aaron Judge plays, he is a very, very valuable component to this Yankees franchise. And I do think that moving forward, Aaron Judge is definitely one of the best players on earth, even though he's incredibly big. And with that said, I want to take this opportunity to thank the ESPN, the MLB, the Baseball Reference website for giving me all the stats and all the figures that I need. And if you ever get a chance to watch Aaron Judge, he wears number 99 for the New York Yankees. Everybody watches the Yankees, whether you love him or whether you hate him. Aaron Judge is going to be the player you know is Aaron Judge just because of how big he is and just because of his effortless power. Thanks once again for listening. I hope all is well. I want to wish Aaron Judge a happy 30th birthday, as I truly believe that he's going to age well through his 30s, considering the sport that baseball is. Thanks once again. I hope all is well, and I will catch you with more episodes as I go on, one day at a time. Once all of today's episodes and matchups are done, I'm going to come back tomorrow on April 27th, which should be a Wednesday. I want to thank everyone once again. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with another piece tomorrow. And of course, peace out, and I'll catch you with more. Thanks for listening.